guys, so today I'm going to show you how I cook my whole chicken in my oven. I've been asked to do this video, so here it is, and hopefully this gives you some idea of how I cook it. And it's really not a hard process. I think it's just, you know, having the right cooking materials and, you know, trial and error. It took me a long time to finally figure out a way to cook a bird without completely drying it out and giving it, you know, a good flavor. So the first thing that you have to do is figure out how long it's going to take to cook your bird. In the description box, I will put the time for how long you should cook your bird for its size at 350 degrees. Now what I use is just a roasting pan, and then I have this rack from my roaster, and I just put my bird on top of here and cook elevated. And the reason I do that is because if you cook it down and let it sit in its juices, you get that soggy, gross skin underneath, and I don't like that. Kind of let this sit for a little bit so it's not too cold for you to handle. Clean the insides out, pat it dry, and then put it on your rack. My chicken is warming up a little bit. We're coming to room temperature. What I have here is a bowl of softened butter and then seasoning. Now seasoning for me changes all the time. It really just depends what I'm in the mood for. This particular night we're just using an all-purpose seasoning by Riley's. We really like this on a lot of different things, so that's just what I put in here. Tonight I'll just do a little poultry seasoning and pepper. Other nights I just do a little lemon pepper. So really it's just whatever you want to put in here to season your bird. Just put, you know, enough butter that you can coat your bird with it, and you're also going to be putting this inside of your bird as well, so make sure you have plenty of butter and seasoning mixed together, because the last thing you want to do is run out when you are in the middle of coating your bird. The breast of the bird. So I like to start with the breast of the bird first. I go under the skin and I tuck the butter in there. Now I accidentally ripped the skin of my bird when I was opening it up, but you want to try not to do that. Try to keep the skin as intact as you possibly can, because that's what's going to keep the butter on the meat of your bird so it stays nice and juicy. So just keep that in mind. Try not to let the skin rip, but sometimes it happens, so don't beat yourself up if it does. And then once I get that in there, I like to rub a little bit up on top and then around the legs. Just kind of get the whole bird there. And then you're going to take a little bit and you're going to go inside of the bird. And you want to try to get a lot of that flavor inside the bird as well, because that's where your flavor is going to really kick in. Okay, now I'm going to flip this over, and the skin here is better than it was on the bottom, but luckily it's going to drip to go down. Also get the legs, kind of, you know, just get the entire bird under the skin. And when I first started doing this really grossed me out. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started cooking, raw meat weirded me out. The thought of putting my hand under the skin just freaked me out. But it makes all the difference. I promise you will notice a difference if you do this. And then I just kind of, whatever's left over again on the outside of the bird, like so. And I try to keep as much in the center as I possibly can. Okay, now I'm going to wash my hands. Clean hands. I just washed them. I'm going to go ahead and take my seasoning of choice and just kind of layer the top of the bird. And then I am going to go ahead and lift the bird up. And again, put some in the center of it and on the bottom. Breast side down, and the reason I do that is because when I cook my bird breast side up, I notice that everything is dripping down, so the bottom, which is fattier anyway, is staying moist, where my top of my bird always dried out. I know it's always said to do breast side up, but trust me, if you want moist breast meat from your chicken, cook your bird with the breast side down, because all of that juice is going to drip down and all of the fatty juice from the meat of the bird is going to drip down, and it's going to help keep your breast meat moist. For me, you know, it's not about the appearance. It's more about just having moist breast meat and not a dry chicken, which is very important. So now at 350, I'm gonna go ahead and get this in my oven. And there is how I have it set up. The rack kind of just hangs on the slots that I have in here so it doesn't fall down when it's in there. But that's what works for me. But if you have a better way of doing this, do that. But what you want to do is just keep your chicken up out of the pan so you don't get that soggy bottom. What the chicken looks like. I did use a meat thermometer to make sure that it was cooked all the way through. But all I'm going to do now is let this sit for maybe 15 minutes before I start cutting into it. I just like to let it sit before I cut into any meat, really. But yeah, that's it. That's all you do. It is very, very simple. So hopefully that helps, and I will see you guys in another Food Friday. Bye!